Awesome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Evan Haston, and I am going to present a brand new product to you today. We've gone ahead and released this product called TownCenter for municipalities, HOAs, and country clubs. And this is a pretty neat tool. It does a few different things. We have some issue reporting, we have task assignment, email notification. It's really your all-in-one stop shop for your constituents or the people that live in your community or the people who subscribe to your country club. It is pretty neat. It allows you to the issues to be created, for them to be assigned, and then for you to interact with those the people who created those issues. One of the things that we have here, we'll kind of show you what it looks like from a resident's perspective. So when I sign in, and I'll just do sign in with Apple real quick, and I'm going to sign in with my email, and we'll just say yes, that's okay. We'll say continue. And we're talking about bringing Google as well, but we didn't do that quite yet because there's some requirements around that. As you see when you sign up, there are two different options here. You can join by address, so this is really your municipality option, and join by code. So for HOAs and for country clubs, this would be join by code, so it's a little bit different. But let's go ahead and join by address. And I'm just going to pick a random address here from Zillow. So let's see here. And I usually would have this already picked out, but I'm just going to do this. Okay, cool. So we're going to put in this address. This is a house for sale in Deep River. And you can see we have autocomplete here, so we can just select that. It goes ahead and validates that Deep River is a valid community that we've enabled. And we just join the community. And it's that easy for residents. So depending on your setup for your specific town, you have announcements, issues, and feedback. We also have the ability to upload your logo here. So instead of saying Deep River, it'll be your logo. But from an issue perspective, I can go ahead and report an issue. And depending on how I define my issue types, I can select the drop down here, select the location of that issue, description, and then add photos. So I can go ahead and add there. Feedback is a neat feature here. We can do submit feedback. We can enable them to do it anonymously or not. This depends on your specific configuration. We can select a category, so landscaping, parking, noise, safety, anything like that. And then this can generate a report. So if you wanted to report at the end of the year of all the feedback given by, the residents of your HOA or municipality or, your country club, that would be something that could be done. You can also create announcements here. So, hey, Main Street is closed today because we have the muster going on, or we have a Deep River Day or whatever it is. There could be an announcement here. And the neat thing about this, one of the things that we're actually putting out right now is an app on iPhone and Android, and it will send a push notification to your phone. So, for instance, if there's an emergency, if there's a water main break or something, and the town needs to get some information out, you can go ahead and send an announcement here. We're future state. We're planning to integrate that with stuff like Nextdoor, so that will auto post to Nextdoor. It's just a centralized platform that's up and coming. Not there yet, but we're getting there. From the perspective of the user, it's just super easy. Some of the things that we've enabled. If we go into the admin, we can have a little bit more features and functionality. We can create some issue types, things like that. From the community member perspective, you have the ability to join multiple communities. So say, for instance, I have a house here in Deep River, and then I have another house in North Carolina, and both of those subscribe to TownCenter. I can go ahead and join a community, and I can do similar to how we signed up. I can say, hey, here's a town, or here's a code, and I can go from there. When you join a community, essentially they'll give you a code. It'll be an 8 character code. You'll put it in here, and then you'll be part of that community. If you're part of multiple communities, this drop down will contain multiple communities. So could contain Deep River as a municipality. You can also be part of a country club or part of an HOA down in North or South Carolina, wherever it is, and it will allow you to select the specific area that you're in. This will allow you to do the same thing on your iOS or Android app. So it's very, very simple, very clean just for the end user. It also allows you to provide feedback for the application. So if you see something that you would like, there's a bug or a feature, you can absolutely submit that. We'll fix those issues, maybe add some features, things like that. If we sign out and I sign back in as an admin, let's just do that real quick. So we're going to do here, let's just sign in. You have a list of items here that you can utilize. One of the cool things about this when you log in is it lands you on this dashboard that talks about issues. So depending on what you have enabled, it will show different things here. But we have total issues, open tickets, in progress, and closed in the last 30 days. You can see, depending on the issues that are created, the issues by the category and issues by status. So open and closed, and then say, for instance, an issue category is potholes, right? And you see an increase in potholes. We might want to figure out why. Generally in Connecticut, that happens around winter where you have an increase in potholes because the plow trucks are trying to remove the snow, and sometimes that digs into the asphalt. It happens, but it's nice to see that trend. Some of the things that are interesting too here in our kind of portal here is we have the ability to create our groups. So when we're talking about groups, we're talking about like your highway department, public safety, your fire department, whatever that is. You can create a group here and then have that reflected in the portal. And what that allows us to do is to do auto assigning of issues based on like groups. So if I wanted, hey, my neighbor's shooting off illegal fireworks at my house, right? Like that could be something that goes to public safety. Recommend you call for something like that, but it could be done. So for here, what we'll do, I have a larger view here because I'm an admin for all communities. But if I go to Deep River, Connecticut, I can create a group here, and I can create this as Public Works. And I can say, hey, this is the group that handles landscaping and town maintenance. I can't, and construction. Excuse my lack of grammar here. So maintenance, landscaping, town maintenance, and construction, right? So now Public Works is a group here. We'll just create that group. It will create on the back end here. Now we have a Public Works group. And now we can go over to issue type and go to Deep River. And I will, I'm probably going to fix that so it auto sets. But, oh, you know why it's setting to that? Because I am not selected in Deep River. Okay. So create first issue type. We can do pothole in the road. And we can set an SLA hours. So if we wanted to, and this is optional, right? You don't have to set an SLA, but say, I will get back to you in 72 hours, or this will be fixed in 72 hours, or, we could set that too. So we'll say 72. The default assignment group, so this is where those groups come in, would be Public Works. And then the default assignee, when you create a group, you can assign employees or like supervisors to that group, and then this ticket would get assigned to those supervisors. So we'll go ahead and just create. We won't do a default assignee. You can see this is 24 hours. If I do another issue type, I can do, tree maintenance. If I can type tree issue, I'll just say issue because I can't spell for some reason today. Say issue where tree is causing disturbance on public land. I don't know. I'm horrible at this kind of description thing, but there we go. We'll say SLA. We'll say, 48 hours for this. The Public Works will also be there. Default assignee. And then, you can create other groups on top of that too. So we see Public Works here. If we wanted to create, I don't know, the town, we'll do the fire department. And we can create issues there as well for the fire department. We can also go into these individual groups here, and we can add a new user. So if we wanted to add an employee, a supervisor, or a contractor, we could do that. So if we go, if I add them here with their phone number, they'll be added to this group. Then I can assign them as the default user, and they'll get that ticket notification through their email to say, hey, there's a brand new ticket. We can add an existing user. So if we had somebody in multiple departments, or we had a new user or a user that we already have brought into the portal, we can just assign them here. Issue types. So feedback review is the other option here. You can see that there is feedback that comes in. We can actually go into that feedback and see what the issue or the feedback was. We can write a comment. and that will get back to the user. The feedback is private to the town. That doesn't get blasted out to the rest of the your constituents or your HOA members. This is just specifically to the admin for the portal or whoever you designate. And we can create a report for you at the end of the year that says, hey, this is the common feedback from your constituents or your HOA community members or your, in the case, the country club members. And that is super useful, especially around like election years where you're like, hey, what are the issues that we need to touch on? Or, really throughout the year, right? So if I'm a member of a community, I want to feel like I'm heard. I can, through a next town meeting or whatever it is that can be brought up. Hey, there was feedback on the parks that they weren't being fixed or whatever it is. Like I can address that before election time. From the announcement perspective, if I wanted to create an announcement here to say, hey, the muster Main Street closed for water main break. I can go ahead and add that here. There was a break this morning in the water main. Our teams are actively working to get things back in shape. So water main actively, and I can add photos if I wanted to. So if there was if you wanted to share for whatever reason the water main break to show people that it actually exists, you could do that. I can also say that the expiration date would be tomorrow. I can publish that announcement, and then that announcement will be pushed out to the application, so the iOS and Android. They'll also get a notification on here that says, hey, there's an announcement. The cool thing about this is it has an expiration, so it will automatically delete after July 6th, 2026. So that is how that works there. Community permissions, you have the ability, depending on your setup, to have RFP creators. So if you wanted members of the town crew to create RFPs or members of the board for the HOA to create RFPs, you can assign them here to do that. If you wanted to provide elevated access for an employee to create announcements, whether that be your highway department or your fire department, you can create them as announcement posters here, and they have the ability with their user account to post announcements for the town. The RFP creation is a tool that we have here as well. I'll touch on that a little bit later. There's a whole other video as part of that, but essentially it allows the town to create an RFP, the HOA to create an RFP, or of course the country club, and then that RFP can be picked up by individuals. So in our case, what we do is we have, if we go here, and I'm just going to turn this on real quick because I'll show you how that works. So we'll just go to community admins or manage communities. You can see we have some municipalities here. And if we enable RFPs, and I just save that real quick, now we have the ability to manage RFPs for this specific community. The RFP, I'll just show you this real quick, but the RFP creation process is pretty simple. We have a title, description, a category for our RFP, our budget min and max, and then the required components needed for the RFP. And then you also have an ability here to select an RFP requirement that isn't part of this list. So if there's something specific to your HOA or your town that you needed, you can absolutely do that here. The other thing too is you can add documents for the RFP responder to look at. So if you had an actual Word document, which is pretty common in RFPs, that you wanted to upload here, you could just add that document. It'll get created as part of the RFP. And then they can take a look at that and respond accordingly. The one other thing, this is pretty common in at least enterprises. I know that towns and municipalities sometimes like to have this too. It's defining scoring criteria for proposals. It's like, hey, I want 30% for price, 25 for experience, 20 for timeline, qualifications 15%, and 10 references. If we needed something, so for instance, if you needed something done in a short amount of time and you didn't care so much about the price, you're like, hey, the members of the community or the members of the town or the residents of the town would be okay with a higher price to get this done in a shorter amount of time. You can obviously change these accordingly. So if you went, hey, we're actually going to do 30% here, and we're going to do, and you see it gives you a warning down here, we're going to bring this down to 20. Our total weight is 100%. So this can be changed accordingly as well. And then you can remove these requirements as well. So if I didn't want, experience, which would be kind of weird to remove, you could do that there, but then you'd have to balance things here for how you wanted to score. Awesome. If you are a town or an HOA and you have approved vendors, you can actually add the vendors here. You would select the service area. Right now, there's no service areas, but we can add them here for your support. So it would be like, hey, we want you to support Deep River. The company type we could add here. So it would be HVAC or, for highway department, like a mowing service or a landscaping service, whatever it is, we've got you covered. So if you are interested in the product or interested in having this in your community, feel free to go to tcenter.io and fill out our contact us form. We'll be happy to get back to you and get you started. Just a note too, this is a beta, so we will go ahead and give you this free for a year to select communities. So those of you who are able to reach out first, we have that conversation. We'll give you that free beta for the year. And then obviously very heavy discounts once this is full blown. And we appreciate your support. Thank you very much.